We just finished up session 3, and first we're going to hear from Robbie Seay. Like all the other guys, we asked him to come down and give us 5 more minutes. And then we asked him a few more specific questions, like what's he doing to develop his own walk with Christ? How is he growing as a follower? And then we asked him to talk about how he's balancing ministry and family life. Let's hear what he has to say.
I think as an artist, obviously I play music for a living, serve at a church, and I would say I've spent too many years being caught up in me and being caught up in my art and in what I do. And as I shared with these guys out there, just over the last couple of years, God just began to intersect my life in so many ways to go, it's not necessarily about you or what you're doing or where you're headed or what you think you are going to accomplish. And the difference that you make may be completely outside of the art that you make. And it helped me in a couple ways. One is that my art is no longer just my music, my art is no longer just a job. It's no longer just a point of service. It's actually an expression. And no matter what it does for me or doesn't do for me, it's part of my worship, and it should be authentic, and it should be about the one who created us in the first place. And then secondly, just realizing that all of us are put in a place to make a difference, And I shared some about compassion and our work with them and what that's meant to my family. And it's just been one of those moments in my life where I just felt like God saying, I'm calling you to something greater, And so if I've got a few minutes left to say anything, just know that God's calling us to something greater than just going through the motions of religion and of service, and in our case, music and art, but just know that God's got a bigger call in our lives to serve and to love, no matter what that looks like. For us, balancing traveling, and then we're home, leading in our church, balancing that with family is probably one of the greatest, I don't want to say struggles, but it's a huge deal for us, and probably for most of you who are watching this, it's a big deal in your life, and oftentimes we get it right, and oftentimes we get it wrong. I think for us, and for you probably, having a community around you that knows your schedule. So that for us, it means people in our church who know where we are, who knows our priorities, who can tell us, hey, maybe you don't need to travel there or do that or spend your time on this project or whatever, and maybe you're missing some things in your family. For us, having people speaking into our lives consistently is really just a huge part of us staying married and making sure that we love our kids and our kids know us. And I've got 3 little rugrats running around my house, so this is a big issue for me. The only other thing I would add is just scheduling. For us, keeping track of the schedule. My wife, if she's not involved in our schedule, if she doesn't know where we're going to be, and help me make decisions and help us pray through what God's really calling us to do. If I'm not in that place and making decisions just completely on my own and with my own selfish desires, I'm a mess, and my family's usually a mess. And so I've learned over the years that I've got to be in that place where we're acting as a team. So I hope that helps and makes sense in the way that we balance that, and maybe for you.